Jennifer, are you excited about Sunday?
I am, yeah. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm definitely excited.
Cool, cool, cool. For you,
Yeah.
everyone that doesn't know, me and Jennifer are interviewing Elizabeth Ellen on Sunday.
Ooh.
Oh,
Is the Twitter account ever coming back?
The Hobart, I don't know. I think she gets overwhelmed by too much social media. It kind of interferes with her creative process. So
That's fair.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe someone else will take it over eventually. I don't know.
are you gonna take it over, Jennifer?
Me? No, I don't even. I don't even work for Hobart.
But if you did, if she hired you, would you?
Would I take over the social media?
Yeah.
I don't know. I barely have time to manage my own social media, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
You think you have that kind of attitude, the Hobart attitude?
maybe.
Mm-hmm. Where'd Claire go?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. Alexandra, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm watching the New York City election.
Wait, do you live in New York?
No, I'm in Philadelphia, but I've just
Oh
been
yeah.
really watching it.
Who's
Oh, is
winning?
that happening now? Who's
I
running?
mean, what's that?
Who's running? I never see anything about it.
My dad is really for Andrew Cuomo, and I ruined his dinner party the other night. It was his birthday, and he was just talking about how much he loves Andrew Cuomo and how he thinks they need to start running more centrists and stuff like that. And I was just like, no, Dad, you got it all wrong.
Dads are supposed to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Now is Jillian Luft, does she come in under a different name?
No, I'm here. You see me now?
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I see you. Now, Jennifer,
Oh,
how
I
many?
do have a different name. My maiden name is on there. Ooh.
Oh, cool. When did you do the interview with Elle?
When or why?
No, when?
Probably 2 weeks before it was published.
Okay. And do you know Claire is now part of Zona?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're Zona teammates.
Claire, how long has that been in the works?
I talked to Julia a couple times, and she's like, if you have anything, send it my way. And so I just had it in the back of my mind for a couple months, and then did a review a little while ago, and then it just kind of started going from there, oh, wait, I want to get an arc of this, so it's a good excuse to do
What'd you get an arc of?
The new Rose books, Writer's Diary by Matthew Gosda. So I just sent him the interview questions. We'll see what he comes back with.
Sweet.
Yeah. And the first one I did was Calls May Be Recorded, which was the $2 radio one.
Oh, yeah. How many books do you have, Claire? You have a lot of books.
I have 6.
Nice. Because I ordered them and I keep getting books in the mail. And I open it up oh, it's another Claire book. Cool.
That is very sweet of you.
Jennifer,
also,
oh, sorry.
That Ronald McDonald is here with us tonight. Special.
These are compliments of Kim Vodka. It's compliments of Kim Vodka through Ted Hash Berryman. So, what is Ronald McDonald's tagline? Does he have a tagline?
Everyone is happy?
No. That's.
I'm loving it.
But did he say that, or is that McDonald?
This is the same thing. Jennifer, how many questions do you have for Claire?
I just did one for each person tonight because I thought it would be kind of rude for me to
no,
take over the whole.
You're the main segment for tonight.
Oh no. Save that for next Sunday.
Okay.
I don't want to take over the whole thing. So.
You're the star tonight, Jennifer.
Oh well, no, definitely not. I feel like we've got at least how many people do we have reading tonight? Six, 7?
Yeah.
At least 6 or 7 stars tonight.
Would you join Jillian's covenant with El Nash if she invited you?
I mean that that's kind of an awkward question. I suppose maybe if we discussed it and she was interested, but like it's definitely. I mean, I've got a lot on the go too right now, and I'm sure they've got their own stuff going on. So yeah, I don't want to like take over other people's stuff.
That was such a diplomatic answer for something it's not as serious. I mean, we jokingly call ourselves a coven, but you're always welcome.
Oh,
really,
you're so sweet.
It's really just a WhatsApp chat in which we talk shit all day. That's
Oh,
mostly
nice.
Jillian, would you like to go first since you read last time?
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, I guess.
Let me intro
now?
everyone. Let's do tonight we're doing a rewind and relax. It's a sort of a repetition kind of the last reading because we had such a fantastic time. I'm Tyler Byrne, the host of Lo-Fi Lit, here with everyone from last time. Today, Jillian is going to go first.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I brought this time because I know we're trying to make more short and read more short and poppy things. So I just have a little excerpt from something I'm working on right now that is about strip clubs and wealth inequities. We'll just say that. Currently untitled. All I wanted in the summer of 1991 was a thong bikini, a G-string, my ass on full display like the me-so horny girls lighting the cover of Two Live Crews as nasty as they want to be. Perfect booties, perfect bodies, perfect legs spread in the sand forming perfectly straight A's. The heads of the Two Live Crew members peering up at the perfectly acute angle formed where gams met pussy, proof that these ladies earned their top grades in the way that counted most. I preferred a lime green G-string, but would settle for zebra print. I was 10 years old. Cruising A1A in the backseat of my aunt's Nissan 240 SX, hopped up on hot fudge sundaes, I quoted Pretty Woman to my younger brother, grooved to the freestyle music on Power 96, hair crusted with salt, skin peeling like prosciutto from lounging all day in a cabana at a Fort Lauderdale beachside resort, my aunt's employee, Mr. Marriott. The summer of 1991 flushed flamingo pink, an unembarrassed color of day-glow horniness. A briny breeze coated my tongue while I slurped up paradise and let it dribble down my chin, pelt the sand and melt away. Ice cream, virgin daiquiri, ocean. I could always get more, have more, request more. I was sun-drunk and stupefied and spoiled. I lived this lie for 2 months each year until my mother died. I wanted what the cool kids had, the real cool kids, the teenage babes traipsing down Beachfront Avenue. What they had was tits and ass and countless nights where others ogled their bodies under fake fog and packed, sweaty rooms. To be ogled was to be the VIP. That was the real currency. I wasn't sure what came after, but to be sexy in skin-tight lycra seemed enough. The first 2 rich girls I met while roaming my aunt's hotel were Brooke and Chelsea, both frequent hotel guests, best friends, no parents in sight, a bit older than me and much, much prettier. Too young to get into the elbow room, but they probably had fake IDs or Swiss boyfriends. Chelsea, a pale-skinned strawberry blonde. Brooke, a towering brunette with beachy waves. They obsessively weighed themselves on the scale outside the sauna room, sharing jokes about rice cakes and private school in Connecticut. We played tennis, but I passed out from the heat during the first game. They feigned concern, dropped me off at the beachside bar where my aunt's handsome and mustachioed employee, Bruce, took care of his boss's niece. Bruce served me a glass of ice water and a virgin rum runner. Bruce made sure I was in the shade. Bruce said my blood sugar was low and passed me a plastic cup of maraschino cherries, then a plastic cup of coconut flakes. I trusted Bruce's attention as much as I did the rich girls. Still, I would never decline treats or special treatment. I may have been a child, but I wasn't stupid. The last day I trailed Brooke and Chelsea, Chelsea cut her thigh while exiting the jacuzzi, probably from outside glass. A perfect red ribbon decorated her immaculate leg, white and smooth and glowing like the moon. The image stuck with me that night, nestled up next to my mother in my aunt's bed, my hair wet from the shower, my body smelling like suntan, and my skin like St. Ives apricot scrub. I knew I would never know that beauty. It would never be mine to inherit, to possess. Even when wounded, girls like Chelsea would remain pristine, their flaws only magnified, the inaccessible mystery of their beauty. And I will stop there. Thank you.
Holy shit, that was excellent.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, is this a piece that you've been working on, or is it already out?
This is just a excerpt. Yeah, I think I'm working on my memoir now. It's about caretaking for my sick mom, so I'm getting into that part. So I haven't decided if I'm going to include this or make this an essay or something else, but I've just been tinkering away on it.
I love that it's set like in early 90s.
Oh yeah, I always feel like I'm the oldest person in the room. Oh, I see Kim, or sorry, Come. Okay, I will submit it. And I'm sorry that I missed your reading on Tuesday. Look at it's hard for me not to laugh when I'm looking at Ronald McDonald cheering. Now I just lost my train of thought because I was looking at the text in the chat.
We were talking about 90s and stuff.
90s, yes. I'm glad that it resonated with you because I never know if my references are too old, like for an older person. I was like, when I thought about reading it tonight, I was like, are they gonna know who Two Live Crew is? Like, they've kind of become dinosaurs of a certain age.
Well, I feel like
rules, yes.
I feel like even if people don't know the references, you've written in a way where it's kind of timeless, where it could be like any summer.
Thank you. That's what I try to do. Oh, yeah. People definitely know Two Live Crew.
Claire, Jennifer, Alexandra, do you guys have any questions? Or anyone else from the reading?
Sure. Yeah, Jillian. So this was great. I love this. And the apricot scrub, I saw a couple of people with the little thing coming up saying they were familiar with the apricot scrub too. I think that's like a classic. So yeah, we got all the references for sure. I think at least some of us did anyways. But yeah, I'm just curious, like, so I got to ask you all the questions before about all your previous book. I'm like curious, what is next? Like, what are you like? What can we expect to see from you next?
So what I'm working on, and it's taking a while, is why do I always get so like feel awkward when I'm about to say the word memoir? A memoir. I feel like I should say it like that. Okay, but a nonfiction book about my experience of taking care of my terminally ill mom. When I was 13, my dad decided to leave. I'm not giving anything away, but it'll be in the book. Decided to leave my mom for her nurse and best friend, and instead,
What the fuck?
Instead of coming back to his kids, he felt so guilty that he left us with a bedridden woman. And so for a year or so, I took care of my younger brother and my mom on my own. And there was a certain It's fine, but there was a certain like horrific element to it, so I'm trying to write like a memoir with a lot of horror elements and tropes in it. And that's what you should see next if anyone wants to publish it. But I'm still in the revision stages and hope to finish by the new year. But that's what I'm
super excited to read it. I've read some of your nonfiction, like some of your short stories, and I feel like some of it is, like a little bit of it is in your novel as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I'm already in the like Jillian kind of like history lore, and I'm really excited to read about. Well, I mean, obviously not excited to read about how horrible it was, but excited to read your work because you touch on all the like aspects of caretaking and like being young and doing that so well, and I think I'm looking forward to reading it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
With the horror elements, are you thinking like of a parallel kind of essay where you're describing horror movies or something like that, and then that is so cool.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Look at Claire.
So wait, did the nurse, she left with your dad, and she leaves her job behind? That's kind of fucked up. I feel like that's in practice.
She didn't. Well, did she leave her job? Yeah, she did. She did. She had moved. She had moved right before that to a town over. So yes, she had left, and it's a whole thing.
Well, if you have her die in your novel in a horrific way, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Alexandra, do you want to ask anything? Or Kirstie or JL?
Sure, I guess I'll pop in and just like ask to my point in the chat, like, have you been consulting with Elle on like how to make the horror elements work? Because she's such a master, right? So, and I imagine you guys talk about it a lot, and she's probably so encouraging of that. And like, it's such a unique, such a heartbreaking narrative, and then to like make it creative in that way. Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine. Curious about how Elle's encouraging it or like informing it in your relationship with her, and also too, how long you've been working on it.
Oh yeah, that's a harder question to answer. I'll answer the harder question first.
Sure.
I feel like, especially when you answer the question in like a pat and trite way, like, when did you become a writer? And some of us will say, and it's an honest answer, right, that I've been writing since I was a child. So I feel like to process what I went through, like starting with my dad pulling a Melrose Place or whatever, and then my mom dying like a year after that, to process it, I was always kind of writing about it. And then I know some of you may know this, or I maybe have said this in our last hang, but I didn't start really putting my work out there until 2020 during the pandemic. And so at that point, I started to really like carve out time to work on specific scenes from the memoir. So I guess the answer would be 5 years on and off, but really I've always been, writing little pieces or scenes from it, for like high school essays or I don't know, bad high school poetry that was aping The Cure but was about grief or whatever, so there was always that element. And I will tell you honestly, Elle does know about this project, but I haven't asked her about it. The thing, the thing about it is, while we support each other's work and talk about writing in that way, we don't always talk about our specific projects. And I think that's kind of, the dynamic that I have with certain writer friends. Like, we'll check in about things, but we don't necessarily go to each other for advice. I'm kind of at this point, and maybe I don't really know if I'm successful because I only have my eyes on it, but as someone that watches like 3 to 4 horror movies a day, I think I have internalized the tropes, and I hope, like, even though it hasn't shown up in my work in very explicit ways in the past, that it will. I'm actually going to be reading a piece at everyone go to Eric Subpar's Ghouls in Love book reading in 2 weeks. I'll be reading something there that has horror elements, and then you guys can just tell me if it sucks then, and then I can go from there. But that's an interesting question, because you're like, right, Elle is kind of like the mistress of horror, and I don't discuss writing with her in that way.
I think that makes sense in terms of like not letting maybe her experience inform your first draft,
Right.
which might be kind of a trap if she's like trying to guide you too much. And like you said, like you have so much experience consuming horror as like a person who takes it in and processes it and familiar with like the tropes and things. I always thought the brilliance of genre was like knowing the tropes and then having to work and innovate within them over and over and over again in like new and innovative ways. I think that's really fucking hard, like in a way I can't even fathom. So good, yeah, good for you. Proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I think it's good to move on to our next reader. Let's go to Claire. Do you need to be anywhere after this?
I like Kirstie need to leave a little bit early, but nothing
You
crazy.
can go now then.
Okay. Cool.
And then we'll go to Kirstie after.
Okay. I'm going to read you something called Waste, and it was originally published in Cleveland Review of Books. I wake up in a plastic ball pit, like at Chuck E. Cheese or something, but I don't know where I am right away. Except I'm deeper in the ball pit than ever before, like I always wanted to be as a kid and more than I want to be as an adult. It isn't very deep. I climb out and see a security guard patrolling the floor. He startles at my presence. The show is over, sir. It's too late. This place is already doomed, unless he just wants to rumble. I fall back into the pit because why not? I'm already here. My fall is somewhat graceful. I can tell it moved him, the security guard. Okay, I went a little overboard with it, simply for the sake of entertainment value. As I turn to find an exit, I give him a face like I'm readily available to do this professionally. Stunts at various ball pits across the country, the works. Who knows, he might have connections. In the ball pit scene, I could become a public persona. I say all this with one face. The problem started last week. We heard the kind of news that makes you take a good look at what you've done to get here, like you're some kind of cautionary tale in a health pamphlet. But there's no medical explanation for unleashing this kind of destruction. It's out of our hands. Nobody knew what lay under the old mall. So when the city took over and marked it for demolition, we sent for help. Stop in the name of love, of nostalgia, of commerce, of those cookie cakes with the electric blue icing billowing in soft ridges to form messages of congratulations, of births, of events that are not usually violent in nature, with only a few exceptions. I won't get into that time Joey had too much to prove at his laser tag birthday party. He should be the one to come clean about that. I don't care how old he is. Leanne's vision is still perfectly good, and that's what matters now. What we know so far is that the mall's days are numbered. The city says so. Some of us tried demonstrating and all manner of shouting in public to change their minds. Some of us even dusted off our desktops, connected it to dial-up, and did some digging. Argued that the mall contributed positively to the neighborhood, that it instilled a sense of triumph in the human spirit for those who entered its double sets of doors. Our findings might as well be pixelated table scraps to the officials, though. A townie named Mark wasn't willing to let this go. He insisted that they had shredded our report in secret, that it was all a cover-up, a bloodbath waiting to happen. And we know enough not to reason with him. Reason doesn't occur to Mark, ever. It doesn't factor into his decisions. His mom was a lifer at the manufacturing plant who liked to say she was just passing through. Because really, when aren't we just passing through? Mark once skinned an opossum only to look at it. A questionably healthy curiosity ruled him. He still thinks he can make this problem go away. I get my bearings. Looks like I was part of some hopeless protest last night. An all-hands lock-in at the mall where anything goes, and anything most definitely went last night, the last night this building will ever see. Traces and trances return to me without asking first. I find a nice shaded corner of the parking lot to piss in. Today there is no burning sensation. Today is a good day. Not to be dramatic, but to most people, I have vanished off the face of the earth. I made quite a name for myself in certain circles of society, and then I left. Don't ask me why. And I arrived here, absorbing into the general population like nobody's business. Because it isn't anybody's business. As we assemble in the east parking lot behind orange cones that form the safety zone, it's worth noting that nothing brings people together like tearing stuff apart. If you live in this town or the Tri-County area for that matter, and you have working eyes, or one working eye like Leanne, then you're here. Mark arrives late after tacking up photocopies of our mall report and all the familiar places. He's got a telephoto lens strapped around his neck, and he will take pictures of you unannounced. This isn't over. Heads will roll, he whispers, while jockeying for a prime viewing position. Before it was condemned, Mark bought the mall's old department store space, even though he is a self-employed accountant with a modest clientele, so he could use the overhead speaker for announcements. He said whatever he wanted into that speaker, and nobody could stop him. He didn't question whether what he had to say was interesting. Until the city rode in. While rummaging through the department store's storage closet, Mark unfurled what looked to be an ancient scroll announcing a special BOGO event. There was nothing special about those specials. Rumors have circulated that he laminated the sales scroll and hung it on the ceiling right above his twin bed for no particular reason. Then Macy parks her Audi at a safe distance. Her face is on every milk carton in town, not because she was ever missing, but because she owns the dairy. Common decency means nothing to her. I toured her house when it was on the market a couple months ago. There were nude portraits of her in each room. Even Macy's enemies admit she has well-defined abdominal muscles. Mark's going around asking if people want to see his party trick, which is him doing their taxes and a keg stand simultaneously, but no one is taking the bait. We've already heard it before. I decide there's only one way out of this. You know, Mark, I'm thinking about going into finance too. You could say I have a growing interest in growing interest, I say through gritted teeth. Maybe common decency is no longer possible for any of us. What is common anyway, and how does one go about finding oneself? And what about UFOs? These are the questions I've queued up to distract Mark, but the city has decided to get it over with already, and I'm not really one for stall tactics. Right when the building is reduced to rubble, I'm tying my shoes. I miss the best part. What a waste of waste. If there's one thing this town understands, it's that you can get used to any circumstance. Mark thinks he'll never forget the look of that overlarge heap of scrap metal and asbestos, but he will. When the citizens look back on this, they'll only be able to picture what exists in its place. And they'll think the new thing is so great. In the meantime, let people believe they care. It's easier that way. Mark will be laminating a new artifact, and then like the mall itself, he will sort of implode. Before he can even figure out the capabilities of a fiber optic cable, he'll be pulling back the shower curtain at night for fear of finding his very own self there waiting in the tub. Probably. I can't say for sure. As for me, it's time to stop hiding. Anonymity has never really worked out for me. This is the deal. I hear the city is hiring. The end.
Thank you. I like that a lot. So is this part of something you're working on, or you've already published?
Yeah, it's already published. It's just a story. I am working on a collection, and this is in the collection.
So does this feels very? This might be a strange question. You live in Asheville. It feels like it runs parallel, maybe with the events of the hurricane and wiping out.
I think this is actually written before then, but I love that connection. That's something I hadn't thought about before. I could totally see that.
Were you living in Asheville at the time of the hurricane?
I was, yeah. I actually, I have an essay in Pithead Chapel about my experience because it was kind of unreal. But yeah, we lost clean running water for almost 2 months. We were filling up buckets at the creek so we could flush toilets and stuff. Yeah. Sorry, that's my dryer going off. I don't know if you
You're
can.
good. You're good. Jillian or Kirstie, do you guys have any questions?
Yes, I have a burning curiosity that I've actually always wanted to ask Claire, because I'm very familiar with her work. And every story has like this confluence or this unique blend of, surreal humor, Americana, philosophical depths that are, explored in this really humorous way. And I was wondering, do you start out with like images or ideas? A lot of your stories have specific settings or like specific quirky characters that are doing some grand and wild, ridiculous thing usually. But do you start there, or do you start with, like, for instance, in this story, I'm still really thinking about people love to come together when they want to destroy something. I'm paraphrasing there, but like, do you start with the act, like does the idea propel you, or is it more just like images or you feel attracted to a certain type of character, etc.? I've just been curious about your process.
Yeah, I love the way that you said that, by the way. That was amazing. Plot is like always like the last thing that I think about. But you never really know because like I'm just writing bullet points of ideas, and that could be a word I really want to use, or it could be a phrase I want to use, and then I just somehow try and tie all those things together, and sometimes it's a bit of a reach, but yeah, I mean, the plot, the main idea could be in there, or it could just be like, how in the hell am I going to tie these things together? And that's when it comes across.
I love that. I'm also of the camp of anti-plot, or plot is last priority.
Yes, absolutely.
Claire, did you ever steal something from a mall?
I didn't. I wish I was that cool, but I'm not.
So I was wondering, Claire, so you have like such a singular style. Like I don't think I've ever come across anybody who writes quite like you do, and I love it. So Claire was actually one of the first people I kind of like found online that I really liked her her writing, and I went out, like I read one of her stories and I went out and ordered like 2 of her books right away. I just love them. But I'm curious, so like how does one arrive at Claire Hopple? Like how does that style come to be? Like what are your influences? Like who did you read, or what did you listen to, or what were the movies that kind of inspired your style a little bit, or is it just like kind of something you put together on your own?
Yeah, I definitely have favorite authors and presses, especially. I mean, I've read every single Dorothy Project book that exists. I mean, there aren't a ton, but yeah. So I have my favorites, and they often will just kind of do something in my brain. Like any good book or movie will fire off something that is basically just a way that allows you to play, and adults need to play, and that's my way of playing. And I would say like very, very early on in this process, like maybe in college or something, Pulp Fiction in particular, since you said movies, taught me how to write dialogue without me like studying it. Just watching the movie, I was like, oh, dialogue. Okay, thank you.
That's great.
Because of Tarantino. I don't know what about, there's something that clicked with that movie in particular, but I could spend like hours talking about books and movies I love, so I will spare you. But if anyone ever wants recommendations for some sort of mood or genre or whatever, I'm here for you.
Awesome.
Lo-fi horror. Give me a film recommendation.
I feel like Jillian's your horror expert.
Okay.
But I will say, I watch scary movies every October. It's not my like go-to genre, but I've been doing that for like 6 or 7 years, maybe longer now. Anyway, Night of the Hunter is one of those old movies that actually holds up, and it was like way, way, way ahead of its time. Also, I just saw Begonia, and it was really relevant. Just throwing that out there. Like, yeah, wow. Lots to say about that movie.
Did you see Weapons?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's wild.
Okay.
Kirstie, do you have any questions? Did you ask you something?
No, I don't really have any questions so much as like I just want to make like throw blanket praise on Claire because I really like and admire writers where when I read their work I'm like only that writer could do that specific thing. And there's like never a point where I'm reading a Claire Hopple story where I could mistake it for anything else. I really appreciate that about people's work. And I think that Claire, your style, like that Jennifer was sort of speaking to, like is so uniquely yours and so like absurdist and like dark humor and like wordplay and all these sort of ideas and like you feel like you're being tugged along. You demand a little more from the reader. You make people sit up straight, and I admire that a lot. Like there's no, it's kind of like certain guitar players or singers, the way they throw their voice, or guitar players, the way they manipulate the instrument, or whatever it is you want to call it. It could be anything. It could be sports. It could be like a specific kind of like technique someone uses. It's like something so distinct to the person that like when you see it or when you hear it or when you feel it or whatever it is, that could only and ever be that person. I think that's so fucking cool to see in other writers. That's the best. So just
Well, that's how I feel about you. You have such a strong voice, and it's so compelling. I'm like, you just give me goosebumps all the time.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you.
I'm like, hell yeah. I'm fangirly here.
Yeah, same. Likewise. Big fan. I remember my first ad call, like truly my first rodeo, had no idea how fast the sub calls closed. And you were the one that ran it. And I got in with the piece eventually, but it was so perfectly like tailored to your call, and I was so upset that I didn't make it in because I admired your work so much. I was like, I really want to impress her, and then I never got my shot because I dilly-dallied in the cover letter or whatever people do when they're doing their first ad call. I'm like, yeah, I just remember I've come a long way, baby. To be sitting
You
here.
got in the second time I did a ad call. I remember accepting one of yours, right?
Yeah, the blobfish love story, very goofy.
Yeah.
And also too, I remember writing that and being like, I'm gonna impress Claire. So yeah, I think it's fun to wind up sort of being peers with your heroes. I think that's really fucking cool. I don't know. I'm always very grateful for it. So yeah. No questions, just like so much praise.
I wanted to ask Jennifer, how did you find Claire?
Yeah.
So just on Twitter, I think I want to say it was Melissa Ostrom reposted one of your stories, and I had been following her for a little while, and it was kind of like I was just like kind of newish to Twitter and writing kind of community stuff, and yeah, so she reposted it, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is so good. And yeah, and was like an instant fan. So yeah, that's how I found her. And then I went out and ordered 2 of her books the same day.
Cool. All right, my network is having issues, so if it like kicks me out, just everyone keep going. It'll keep recording. Let's move on to Kirstie Mackenzie. Kirstie is the editor of Major 7th Magazine.
I am, and I am behind on my subs. I need to put out an issue soon, but October wrecked my shit, so it did not happen. I'm going to rock through something super quick, and it's a little bit listy, so sorry about that. Sometimes I fall into that, but yeah, super quick one. It was a had piece I published a little bit earlier this year, and it's called Bandits. Fuck a first date. This is true love. Dinner and a movie were never going to cut it. You charted the course, I brought the stash. 500 googly eyes. We crept through the streets after midnight, snuck past the stinking canal with its algae blooms gently swaying, with its mutant fish, streetlights skimming the surface, past shadows hiding in the underpass, bums and lovers like us. We stuck 'em on the busts and statues, on the vacant eyeballs of war generals, on the regal butt cheeks of prime ministers, on the bronze breasts of famous feminists, on bus stop ads about venereal disease, on the headlights of idling cars, on Byward Market beer taps, on bathroom stalls, on the showcase in the cake shop, on tips for the waitress at the Elgin Street Diner, on the pool deck in the Chateau Laurier, on the Oscar Peterson monument under the art gallery. The one that plays old Oscar's songs, the one I love most, his famous fingers tripping over themselves on hymns to freedom and night trains and honey drippers. We slow danced under his googly stare, Mars and Venus mocking the world. Oh, I got it bad and that ain't good. That's all.
Fuck, that was awesome. That just started out with like a lot of momentum.
Thanks.
When
It occurred to me in the middle of it. I'm like, if I'm going to list, I better pick it up.
Oh yeah, also your book, someone said your book comes out, or Jillian was promoting it.
Very soon. Oh, Jillian, thank you for that. I appreciate anyone who thinks of me when they see googly eyes on a thing today. We're well and truly, if I can ever find a man to provide me this first date, it's married in an instant. That's what I want.
When you sit down to write something like this and you pick up momentum, are you in that mood or energy?
Oh, I tweeted about wanting to stick googly eyes on everything and wanting to be like a googly eye bandit ages ago. I tweeted about it, and then I thought, why not make it a little had piece? Because, you know, should they pick it up, which like thankfully they did. I think the Hex editors were the ones writing that or doing that guest call, and they happened to like it, which is nice because I've never even gotten into Hex. So when I sat down to write it, I think I was just channeling that. And also I used to live in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, and I miss it a ton. I had to move back to my hometown after some awful circumstances, but I miss Ottawa a lot. And I was just feeling really sad. And I'm the only person on the face of the earth to be romantic about Ottawa. Nobody's romantic about Ottawa because it's like nice. They'll say 3 things about it, and they're all true. It's nice, it's beautiful, it's boring. And so all those things true about that. But it was a city where I went through a lot of change, and it was a city that I spent a lot of time roaming the streets. I got very well acquainted. I was like very much a flaneur in Ottawa. I got very well acquainted with the downtown core and with like its neighborhoods, like kind of in the center of the city. And I miss that because I own a vehicle now, and I'm in a city that's like spread out, and I'm like mad every day that I don't have like a walkable city to be in, because I think that so much of good mental health and good writing practice has to have like rumination and like time for your thoughts to breathe, and then being able to take everything in around you. And so when I wrote this one specifically, I was meditating on all that time that I'd spent and all those different places. Like all the things I referenced in that, that's all true. That's all things I've seen, and that's all like landmarks that are really important to me. That statue particularly, and that song particularly, all very important to me. And I I wrote it as a little love letter to the city, and I don't know that I'll ever get back, but that was just like what that was. It was the genesis of it was a tweet I made years ago, and then I just sort of ran with it and turned it into this like little microfiction. I don't know what. So, and people seem to really like it, and I still get people messaging me saying like, Jillian, it said, uh, I saw googly eyes on something and thought of you. I think that's great. It's lovely. So.
So if I'm in Ottawa downtown, where should I go? The one place.
Where should you go?
Yeah, if I'm in downtown Ottawa, what's your spot?
Oh, man, that's a hard one. There is a path that runs along the Ottawa River and then up by the locks and down the canal. And so what I would recommend to anyone who just has time to fuck around in Ottawa is to walk that path, and it starts, I would ideally draw someone behind the Supreme Court of Canada, because the best view of the river and of like Parliament is behind there. It's just this like beautiful view of the river, and there's like Quebec on one side, Hull, which is horribly ugly, and then Ottawa on this side, which is very beautiful. And but it's just this beautiful vista, and then you can go down to the riverfront and take the path and take it all the way to like where the locks are that start the canal. And then you can kind of go up and like walk down the canal. And I think that that's the quintessential Ottawa experience. I spent hours and hours and hours walking or running by the canal. And I think that that's the best way to take the city in, because you pass a lot on the way. You pass like Parliament, you pass the city's downtown core, you pass like a really major park, you pass the Chateau Laurier, you pass the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. You pass all these things that are very distinct to the city's history, and the canal itself is very historic. I think it's like it's a monument or like a heritage site of some kind, and like it's very peaceful. Like my soul was very happy being next to the canal, so that's what I would suggest. Which is why I wrote the love letter to it.
You need to put that rumination quote on like a shirt.
What's that?
Like rumination is like, I'll rewind it after when I edit and like put it on YouTube.
Like
I think Claire agrees.
A big piece of it is like I don't think I found ways to adjust to being a driver again, but like it's God my kingdom to live in a walkable city again and not own a vehicle and just kind of like take an Uber when I need to, but like being able to walk everywhere, I think is a beautiful thing, and it's a very intimate way to get to know a place, because you stumble upon my ex and I had very different experiences of the city, because he was a driver and he didn't want to walk, and I walked everywhere, and I loved the city a lot more than he did, because I spent all my time on, like Claire said, the secret alleyways and the back roads, and I knew where this little shop was, and I knew where someone had like a fairy garden in their yard, and I knew where there were little free libraries. Like it changes your relationship to a place. And I think that helped me grow as a writer a lot, because I wrote my first novel in Ottawa. I started being a part of Indie Lit when I was in Ottawa, and I didn't have any community. So, yeah.
JL, Alexandra, Claire, Jillian, do you have anything anything else you guys would like to add, or Jennifer?
Kirstie, Kirstie,
Hey.
I think it was really, hey, I think it was really beautiful, and it was really immediate. Gave me a really good sense of the place, though I've never been there, but I'd like to go one day to see it.
Oh, thanks.
But
I
it was
appreciate that.
great. I have a question actually. Did you write it really fast, or did it come in bits and pieces?
Uh, the ones that I write for HUD do tend to come really fast because a lot of the time they'll announce a call. Sometimes I'll have something in my back pocket. More often I'm writing to a call. Just fuck around, find out, see if I can make something. And then this one came together really fast. I remember there's something very satisfying when you're writing micros and kind of like flash fiction where you can, at least I seem to, this is probably not good practice, but I edit the shit out of my long form stuff. Micros, I tend to know if I've nailed it or not almost immediately. And so this one came together really quick, and I don't think I changed too much of it, and that was a good feeling. So I'm glad that other people saw that, and I'm glad you saw the immediacy. That's really important to me as a writer. Dropping people directly into something as much as possible, and keeping it immediate, because there's a part of me that's like tap dancing always and like needing to keep attention. I believe in that really strongly. So thank you for commenting on that. And thank you for the lovely question.
How are you so versatile? Like, I feel like you could write to literally any and every type of call for any type of journal and nail it somehow. Like,
Oh, that's kind.
you still have your unique voice at the same time. Like, what is the deal with that?
That's really kind of you to say, because I don't feel versatile. I feel like I'm just pulling the same trick every single time, and the trick is just like, here's my voice. But I guess I'm glad that I wrote my novel, which is out November 15th. I'm sure Jill wants me to tell you people. I'm glad I wrote my novel before I started publishing in Flash and in Indie Lit, because it would not have been the same novel. And I did a interview recently with Jack Willian about, and he had asked about that, about like cuts that were made to the novel. And I said, like, there were a lot of choices I made as a younger, less experienced writer that I would not have made when I was, like, if present me had written this novel, it would have turned out a lot differently. And so I'm glad to the point of versatility. I'm glad that I had the experience of writing a novel before writing flash fiction, because writing flash fiction was, it's a learning curve like anything. And a lot of that was informed by sitting back for about a year and watching other people operate in the space and seeing like what people seem to like so much, about what hooked people and what worked. And I feel very fortunate to have like learned from a lot of folks like yourself and like Jill. When I was just sort of taking in their work and being like, oh God, this is really cool. How do I kind of get in there? And I think that part of versatility is just challenging yourself to write a new and different thing, or to write to a call. And there's some attention-seeky part of me that's like, I really want to impress this person, or like, what is it they're going to like? And so maybe that versatility comes from like, can I write for this? Can I do that? And
knowing people well. I feel like you understand what they're looking for, and you can immediately produce it, which is.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think a lot about people's attention and how precious it is. Like, you think about the million things that demand your attention in a digital environment every single day, and the fact that anyone stops to spend any time with your work is a gift. And the least you can do is show up and like make that attention worth it. I believe in that so firmly. If you were going to come correct. And yeah, be tap dancing. I say that I steal that a little bit from Mike Nagel, who is nothing if not an excellent tap dancer, and what he does is like it's like a magic trick on the page. He makes it look effortless when there's so much craft that goes into it, and he had said like he's kind of tap dancing for people's attention, and like I hope I'm not misquoting him somewhere, but I feel like I remember him saying that, and he's like, I try and fire off like a joke a page or whatever, and like I just thought the craft that goes into making something look effortless is that's really impressive to me. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Pulling that off. I was even going to use the word effortless before you said that. But there's that idea that like Kurt Vonnegut wrote, I guess, for his sister or whatever, and like he always thought that you should have an audience in mind. And it sounds like if you're writing to specific calls or specific journals, you do have an audience in mind, and maybe that's why it's so clear and strong and successful in a sense. Okay.
Do you know there's sometimes I'll like imagine a person reading it, whoever it is, like a specific person, and I'll think like I just want to make this person laugh, or I want to make them cry, or I want to make them feel something. And sometimes that person changes, sometimes it's the same person. And I think maybe that helps in terms of like showing up as your best, is like not writing for what's going to appeal to the broadest number. I think that when I found success with things, it's like when I'm writing and I want to express something to like one person or two people or whatever it is. There was a tweet that I always think about. I always reference it, and I don't want to take up too much airtime. Maybe this is like a good place to leave it for the next person. But it talked about how the concept of writing for a mass audience or creating whatever it is you're making for a mass audience has a bad effect on art. And they said, find your 30 sickos. Like write for 30 sickos at most. And I loved that because I thought, well, it spreads from there. But if you find your 30 sickos, they're gonna be the ones to champion you. They're going to be your biggest supporters. They're going to be folks that like recognize what you're doing. And I think like sometimes those individual people kind of rotate a little bit, but like it's a little bit like from my heart to yours for those folks. And there's a few people that I hold really dearly that I just think like if I can write this thing and like make you feel some ways, I'll feel like I've done a good job. And I've been lucky enough that over time it seems to resonate with more people too, which is nice. So thanks. Thanks for the kind words and all the questions, folks. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're awesome as always. All right, let's move on to Alexandra Naughton.
Hey, what's up? This is fun. I'm just going on my couch. Okay. This is called What's Different Between You and Me is You're Going to Hell When You Die. I walk around my 3-story stucco-covered brick row home with no vestibule, looking like butter wouldn't melt in my my mouth. I just put that there to make sure you're paying attention. Maybe I have a character problem, a perception problem. It's really a you problem. You see, I look morose. stuck up, but I'm actually extremely affable. I mean, ineffable. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I have coveted a treacherous man. I have method acted my way into compliance, complicity, only reading and watching the scenes that I'm in. So I can say, you're good, not knowing the full truth, not really lying. I think I'm just going to read that if that's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. You can promote your book or
Oh,
plug
yeah.
it.
It's from my new book called Sick of Being Inside Myself.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? Claire, Kirstie, JL, Jillian, or
I think it was amazing. It was so honest and so immediate again, the urgency of it. So it seems effortless, but I can tell a lot of craft went into it. Had me cracking up too.
Where did
Thank
you
you.
get that attitude? Like, where did the attitude come from? Because I love it.
Where did the what come from?
The attitude behind that piece. Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, last year I read at an event that was, it was a Sopranos themed event. And, I'm a big fan of the show. I'm a big fan of TV in general, but like I've watched The Sopranos maybe like 3 or 4 times the entire series, and I feel like connected with the characters, or just like, I don't know. But I was channeling Carmela Soprano for that piece. Just like she's got this like real like, I don't know. She's so she's got this incredible vision of herself and her like the way she carries herself, like she's, you know, a great Catholic, and she's a great loving mother and a wonderful wife, and she's got this beautiful home, but like it's all, it's all a facade. And that's what I was just trying to think about when I was writing that.
I love that.
Thank you.
I also really love that you channeled Carmela Soprano. That's fucking amazing.
Thank you.
Just like, yeah. I don't know if you follow Megan Williams on Twitter. She's like Megan Lynn. She's a poet, and she's doing she's like pretty large following, and so she's doing a watch of The Sopranos, and she's like tweeting how taken she is with like the female characters, like so many folks are, and like yeah, you might enjoy seeing her tweets on it. I'm not sure, but
They're the best part of the show, I think. Like Carmela and Adriana are my favorite parts of just they
even Janice, like
Janice too, yeah.
Yeah.
Janice is crazy. Janice is great.
yeah.
So I love how sharp your writing is. Like, does it start out like, do you have a process to get, like, you've got so much going on in like a very, very small space? Is there some sort of like, do you start kind of bare bones and layer different elements, or is it something that you just like comes out naturally from you like that?
Yeah, I think I just like wrote that on my phone when I was walking around pushing my daughter in her stroller, just like
So you're just naturally talented and you just
I'm not naturally talented. But like yeah, like I think a lot of the time when I'm writing poetry, I feel like it's kind of like what Kirstie was saying, like you kind of know if it's going to be a hit. Like it comes out most of the time all in one, or like I'll come back to something and like add to it, but I don't really edit too much when it comes to poetry. With fiction, I'm editing like constantly. It's like you start off with a big block of marble and you're like just constantly chiseling it down and like trying to like reform it. But I think with poetry, it's like vomit. It just comes out.
Well, it's a gift. Like I know you say it's vomit, but it's definitely a gift because I don't think I could ever write like that. That's incredible that it just comes out like that and you don't have to work at it. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to say you've been writing poetry for about 10 or more years, so probably when you are writing a poem, you know the beats and you know when to do stuff, when not to.
Right, and I used to be a rapper, so I was telling Tyler about that. I used to be a SoundCloud rapper. Not that like I was good at it or anything, but I think that is something that I used to think about, or still think about when I'm writing. Just like, oh yeah, this is a bar.
Is there any song that comes on you hear and you just start going into that mindset of rapping and you can't help yourself?
Like a rap song?
Yeah, or any song.
Well, right now my daughter is obsessed with Beastie Boys Intergalactic, so like we're listening to that like 20 times a day.
Nice.
I know all the words. But like, okay, this might be corny because I like know he's like not cool. But when I was 15, I really, really liked Eminem and that one song, The Way I Am. I think about that song a lot, where he's saying like, talking about like people bothering him when he's trying to poop in the bathroom. Like I feel that as a mom too. Like there's always just like 3 people in the bathroom with me every time I'm in the bathroom.
I have no questions. I just feel like we could be friends. I just feel like it makes so much sense that your poetry is inspired by television. Like even if you don't explicitly state it, I pick up on those vibes, and then I was thinking about things I would want Alexandra Naughton to write, and then I thought like a TV like in the form of a TV guide, but a bunch of poetries about like really depressing events in your life, like stay tuned at 7. I don't know. My mind was just going in all these directions. Like I'm so inspired by your work as someone that clearly loves pop culture too. You just, like everyone else is saying, in terms of like condensing the heart of an idea, you get at something ineffable, if you will, about just being alive and being a human, and this time through, Carmela's experience in her little cage, well, her big cage. So that's all. You're cool.
I feel like we are friends, Jillian.
I know. Okay, I know, but like we haven't done the IRL, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
First off, sorry that I'm late, everyone.
You're good.
Not been the best day, but Alexandra, I read your book in one sitting, and I haven't done that for a while. So it's just like, that is such a fucking wonderful just feeling. I hope you know that. Just sitting down and being like, I don't know. It was just, I came in the mail, I sat down, read it, and anyway, I want to ask you a little bit more about your book as a whole. And for the people in the future, that poem is in that book, by the way. When you're writing, when you're working, like, are you like, I am working on a book? Or is it like, I have enough for a book? Or is it like, okay, I think from what I have here, I can get to a book? I just am kind of curious, because there's something about that, your book from page to page, it changes register so seamlessly. It's really, really brutal, and then it's really, really funny, and just it's like, fuck. So I just was wondering if you could speak to that a little bit. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, this book is a weird one because it's like a collection of poetry and like some short fiction that I've had published for like the past 10 years or so. Normally when I'm writing a book, it's kind of like I spend a couple months working on like a thematic piece. Like most of my pieces or most of my books have been like concept albums kind of. Like I'll get an idea, and like my first book was poems dedicated to Billy Corgan, but they're all about an abusive relationship. I had like a book where I wanted to channel Lana Del Rey and write about like just feeling lonely. Like that's a book. But this book is just, I try to make it harmonious in its flow, the way, one page goes to the next, but it's kind of like it's not a best of, it's just like things that I like that I think deserve to be put into a book, strung together, you know. But yeah, I hope it still has flow.
It really does. That's why I'm kind of curious about this. And also some of the fiction pieces, like there's that piece that's like I call it a deep dive into someone on a treadmill at the gym.
Yeah.
And it just stuck with me. Like I'm still thinking about it today, which is why I'm bringing it up. So it's interesting that it's really cool that it's older material and newer material. And was that all you? Were you working with House of Vlad to be like, how did you find the shape of it? I'm just a little curious because I really, really was so impressed by how it read as a whole.
Yeah, I think I sent the book to Brian, and he had some ideas. Like he suggested the title. That was not my original title. My original title was Rewatching the John Lithgow Season, but he was like, I don't think people are going to know what that is or like what you're referencing. So I kind of conceded to that, but he liked there's a title of a poem in here called Sick of Being Inside Myself, and he was like, I think that should be the book title, and I agreed. But yeah, like he was helpful in putting this into three different parts, and I wanted to make sure that like each part had, I didn't want all of the Sopranos poems to be in one section. I have like maybe 10 Sopranos poems. I have a bunch of poems about Dexter, and like I didn't want it to be like, I wanted it to be kind of spread out so you get like little different morsels throughout, like a Ben and Jerry's pint.
I guess, how close is the manuscript you turned into what is a book now, I guess?
Oh, from what I turned in?
Yeah, I guess so when you started, like I don't know how this goes or how you're like, hello, here's my manuscript. Was the book that came out a lot different? I'm just curious, just a little bit.
No, it wasn't very different. I haven't like checked the original file that I sent against this, but I don't think it like too much has changed. I changed like words within some of the poems. Like I took some words out and just changed maybe one or two words, but like it wasn't like yeah. It's pretty like it was done. It was done. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it felt that way to me too reading it, so.
Thank you. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
Alexandra, I got a message from Catch over like my Google Voice, and I'm gonna try and like pull it up and see if it'll play for you to hear. Let's go into this.
Hey, I
You
just
hear that?
listened to the episode with Alex,
Yes.
and I just really enjoyed it, and I wanted to let you in on some history, because to me, Alex is like the ultimate alt-lit woman. Like she's like the queen of alt-lit in my eyes, because she was the person who, like, introduced me to the scene. Like, you asked her, like, when did you meet Ted? But it was really, like, when did I meet Alex? Like, I don't know. Like, the other day I was thinking, like, what are the ultimate, like, alt-lit texts? Like, if I am having some alt-lit nostalgia, like, what books would I go back to? And I asked some friends, and it was Lou and Jess, and Lou said Shoplifting at American Apparel, and Jess said I Wanted to Be the Knife by Sarah Sutherland. And I was asking because I didn't, like, really know what mine was, but listening to your podcast made me realize that mine is American Mary. Like, that book to me is the epitome of alt-lit. And then hearing you guys talk about Alex's, like, novel that she's working on, I'm like, okay, like, that book will be, like, the alt-lit nostalgia. It will, like,
All right.
Oh my god. I love Cash. That's so, I like want to cry. That's so nice.
Anyone else have anything they'd like to add?
I just think it was really beautiful again. And yeah, it's really hard to do. It's just amazed by it. So thank you for
Thank you.
sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I think next up we'll have Jennifer. Thank you for reading, Alexandra.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
All right.
Hello.
Hi. So I think today I'm gonna read. I have like I don't know, it's maybe kind of a prose poem. I don't know. I don't really write poetry, so it's about as close as I get to poetry. Yeah, I'm gonna read that today, and it's kind of. I picked it because it ties into my reading from last reading. It's actually has the like the real life parrot that was the inspiration for the bird in my story. So I just thought it'd be fun to read it. All right. So she'd been given a bird's name, which seemed fitting, both for the delicate bones of her small frame and, too, because she'd always kept birds. First a budgie, lime green, black chevrons down its wings. She'd trained it to pick bits of black mascara from her lids with fascinating and precision. Later a dove, snow white, that would lay eggs, delicate, marble-sized eggs for her. Then a parrot, gray, like powdered charcoal, with striking vermilion plumage. She tells me he's a gold mine. He's going to make her big money someday. He has an impressive vocabulary and can do all sorts of clever little tricks. People will pay for demonstrations, schools, corporate functions, birthday parties, you name it. I nod as she catalogs his untapped potential, even though I suspect her estimation is off. She's had this bird for nearly a decade. He's grown so large he's become an albatross, and she lives in the shadow of his wingspan. She can't leave the house for more than an hour without him before he starts to pull his feathers out, can't sit in an indoor cafe, can't travel across the country to see her daughter. I'd seen him once after a bad bout of separation anxiety, grayish, goose-pimpled skin peeking through the curtain of feathers on his pathetic little chest. She says she's lucky to have him, because who else would she talk to anyway? He's a good conversation starter. She takes him to the parks and outdoor markets, walks him along the beach. Everywhere she goes, she feels like a celebrity. People stop to chat and take photos. It helps to stave off the loneliness, to fill the gaps where the family used to be. Family had been all she'd ever wanted, long before she'd been able to have children of her own, little miracles of modern medicine. She'd taken me under her wing. I'd cried when she'd moved away, but she promised me that carrier pigeons would bring me letters. True to her word, little missives had arrived, filled with feathers and rambling notes, scrawled in her beautiful handwriting on stationery, printed with birds of paradise. And then, too, pictures of little sparrows she had yearned for so badly, a daughter now full-grown and flown the nest, and a son with startling blue eyes like her own, who years before had joined the eagles to soar in the heavens. Her marriage hadn't survived her son's death. The charge had been reckless driving. Her husband had taken a corner too fast in his car and spun out. She'd never been able to forgive him. She watches the bird with a mixture of affection and sadness. Parrots live a long time. He'll outlive her, and someone else will have to take over his care. She worries her daughter, who's grown annoyed with him and feels he gets too much of her affection, will abandon him. She wonders how her daughter can be so much closer with her father after everything. I don't say what she surely knows from witnessing her own mother's addiction. The methadone treatments had helped for a while, and her 6 months of rehab had provided a temporary reprieve. But it was never quite enough. I say not to worry about it. I tell her to stop being morbid. She's going to be around for a very long time. The bird does a little dance and nuzzles his head against her cheek. She smiles and leans into the caress and says she supposes she'll have to stick around a while longer. All right.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks.
So this is part of the last story that you wrote?
No, this is actually this is kind of like more personal. But the inspiration for the bird in the story is a real live bird. So I just thought it would be interesting to read the kind of inspiration for the bird that I read in the novel.
Did you own a parakeet?
I didn't. No. It's my godmother.
Oh, okay.
It's not a it's a parrot.
Oh,
like
okay.
African gray parrot. So they're like gray and they have like red tail.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did she save it, or do you like have to adopt it like specially?
Oh no, she still has it. Yeah, she's getting old though, and she's had some health issues, and she's worried that nobody will take him over when she passes, because they're a big. It's like having a toddler. It's a really big responsibility.
Oh, for real? Ooh. How much do they poop?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and everywhere. It's a lot.
All right. Anyone else have any questions they'd like to ask about parrots, or the story, or the poem?
I'm just amazed at like how much heartbreak you fit into such a small piece. Like I just when I thought it couldn't get more melancholic, it did, and you just like pulled at all of my heartstrings, and it was incredible. So thank you. How did you do that?
I don't know. I guess it's really personal to me because like my godmother is probably like the closest person to me other than my own family. We were really close when I was little, and then when she lost her son, he was like kind of like a brother to me, and so it was. Yeah, it's been like really hard to kind of see like what's happened to the family because of that loss, and like the all that kind of heartbreak that's happened. So I mean it's obviously just really personal to me, so I think that comes through in the writing maybe.
Absolutely. It reminds me of this neighbor I had growing up. I watched her parakeet, and he was named Parakeeto, and he had tumors all over his body, and it was so sad. These like pink, wrinkly, bulbous things. It's just like so much sadness in one little bird. So it reminded me of that too.
Oh yeah, they get very stressed. They're very like they need a lot of attention. Birds are very like attached and affectionate. Like they're social. They're super social. So if they don't get enough quite constant attention, then they get really stressed out.
Just like writers.
Jillian, how'd you find like the indie lit community, and when did you start submitting to magazines?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Sorry, you said Jillian.
Jennifer. Sorry.
No, that's
sorry.
fine. So I started writing kind of seriously around like 4 years ago now, just a little over 4 years ago, and I remember like reading online somewhere that if I was going to be like a serious kind of writer, I would have to like get on Twitter and like find literary magazines and stuff like that. So yeah, that was kind of where I started, and I just started like following interesting writers and interesting magazines, and yeah, it took a while to kind of really find my niche and the people that I really like, but I feel like I found like a really great community, and I started submitting just a little over 2 years ago now, and so yeah, it's gone really well, and I've been really lucky to find the kind of places that will publish my work. So when I first started out, I would submit places like, you know, some of the like, you know, you don't know a lot of magazines when you first start out, and a lot of them are kind of like more prestigious, and like they're a little bit snobby and like a little bit academic, and like I even had one place that like I submitted 2 pieces and they like sent me a cease and desist letter, like
what
don't
the
send
fuck?
us any more of this.
Jeez.
We don't like this. So yeah,
dumb.
it was really hard because I was submitting work that was like not kind of what people were looking for, and I felt a little alienated at first. Like I was like I don't think I can be a writer because like people don't want to read the kind of work that I'm writing, right? So yeah, it was a bit of a journey, but I've been really lucky to find like a couple magazines that have sort of like championed my writing and have been really like really supportive of me, and yeah, I really appreciate it.
What was the magazine?
I can't say. I won't say. I wouldn't say.
Okay.
No. But yeah, they didn't even have like you know how some will say like don't like if you submit something, don't submit for another year or whatever, nothing on their website. Just like it was just like they emailed me back after the second submission and they were like, yeah, this work isn't for us. Don't send us anymore.
Jesus Christ. Do you have them blocked now?
Yeah, I don't follow
Good.
them or like anything like that. So yeah.
Anyone else have any comments or questions they'd like to add?
I have a question. As a fellow Canadian, I want to know, did you also have a stint with trying to like make it in CanLit and get similarly frustrated? Because I could go on a fucking tear about how frustrated I get with CanLit and how gatekeepy it is, and how it gets in its own way of like innovating and just creating shit that's interesting. You know what I mean? Like we are, as a nation and as a whole, like many times much slower to adopt innovative practice techniques, all these things. We're just like much more small c conservative in a lot of the ways we approach things as compared to the States. And I feel like this echoes a lot in the literary community, and you see that with these journals that are like grant funded but attached to universities, and run by MFA students who like anyway, there's nothing wrong with that. However, it is very gatekeepy.
Yeah, I agree.
Wrong with it, but also I have my issues. It's very gatekeepy in the kind of way that you're talking about, where it makes you feel sad, like, where do I fit into this? Am I not a good writer? And can I not make it somewhere? And so I'm curious if you had a similar start that I did and get similarly frustrated and sort of drift into this like online, largely American driven lit scene or like alt lit scene that like on its face has its issues, obviously, but like on its face much more open, much more innovative, much more welcoming. No one's getting paid, everyone's having fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. So when I first started like submitting, it was all Canadian journals. I didn't really like even think there would be a market for my work in the US, because like, you know, you kind of you start local and you're like you submit, and I didn't really get any. I didn't get any feedback or anything from them, so obviously it wasn't really something that was you know, working out for me. But I did I joined a couple writing groups when I first started, and like the types of people that were in them were just like, it was like so pedantic and like so like you do it this way and that way, and they were only worried about like like publishing like prestigiously and like stuff like that. And so I started my own writing group, and it was great, and it was really casual, and we had a lot of fun, and yeah, so that's been my experience. And the few times I've gone to like CanLit type events, it's been really like kind of like you don't feel like welcome. It's very academic and very like cliquey, I guess. I don't know. There's no real place for kind of like independent writers, I found personally.
Yeah, and I find that they tend to run with their own in terms of like if you're agented, if you've come out of an MFA, if you get grants routinely, if you have a contract with like a big five or in it, like they tend to run with their own, and it's very, anyway, I could go on about it, but that's interesting to me that you had the same experience I did. And I think that I'm a much happier, more fulfilled writer for having sort of stumbled into this other world. And I think
me too, for sure.
I think that there's a lot more interesting work coming out. Like, not to speak poorly of Canadian writers, certainly I don't want to do that, but like I think more interesting, more innovative things are coming out of this little, I don't want to call it a scene, that's so icky, but like this energy or this momentum or whatever it is you want to fucking call it that we find ourselves in. I'm just putting my hand up, glad to be here, like truly.
Yeah, same for sure.
So yeah.
Hey, what's your feelings on Metatron?
What's
Metatron?
Yeah, Metatron, they run out of Canada. I had Ashley Obscure on. She's
incredible that I did not know that. Like that's needs to like I don't have feelings on it because it's not on my radar.
Because she has a Substack, and she complains about all this stuff. She's been trying to get a grant, and she's like followed all the criteria, and then like they changed their criteria at the last minute.
Yeah.
And like it's basically if you can't get a grant, you're her press
very
like,
Kafka-esque.
fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, and the granting system, I have fucking thoughts about that. Having received grants, having applied for them, like, it feels very much, CanLit is this sort of project that's supposed to like foster national identity via storytelling. And on its face, that's a good thing because there's specific like government funds and grants for writers and presses, and like that's a good thing. However, and there's like whole entire like industries in publishing. There's like a Canada Reads thing where they like get certain people to like read certain books by like writers every year, and then they all debate which one is the best one, and then one of them kind of comes out on top. And the notion is that they want to try and get people to read locally, right? And that is on its face a good thing, but the flip side of that is that it creates this sort of like market where you're telling very narrowly defined stories of like what Canadian literature is. Like, and so it stifles innovation by rewarding things that are like what somebody somewhere in a granting system thinks are Canadian stories. And I've like sat on these panels to like award the grants. I've received a grant. Like it's a game that you play. And it yeah, so like that's a good example, Alexandra, of like people are getting paid where they absolutely should be, and it funds artists to like live in Canada and to make their work, and I think that's really great. I do think the flip side of it is that it stifles innovation into like of like what literature could be here. So it's sort of this perpetual like perpetual thing that's like good and bad by turns. But I'm glad you got I'm glad you got paid for the work you did there. I think that's important to have done it. And I've certainly, like, as a young writer, getting a grant was a huge sort of like boon, because when you're starting out, you're like, oh, this is a chunk of money and I can just run with it now. And so I don't want to like speak too poorly of the system, but like I have my gripes with it anyway. I don't want to take up too much airtime about it. I have lots of thoughts, but that's interesting to hear. We came to where we are presently, indie lit, all the whatever you want to call it, by the same.
Yeah, because there was no market kind of in Canada that you could submit to that would publish the type of work that, you know. Yeah, no, it's great to have found a community and sort of.
And I guess when they pay, like I got paid $350 for my first short story, and I was like, oh, if I could just keep this going, it'll be great. But like that just doesn't happen in the same way in the States. Like certain select publications do pay that much, but like so I guess they have to be very discerning with who they give the money to and why. But it has its limitations. So.
Thank you. I'm thinking about like, oh, I should do like a full episode on like CanLit and people's like gripes with it.
Oh, I mean, I could go on about it. I have lots of opinions, but I think it would bore the average person, particularly in this like audience. I don't think. Well,
yeah.
If we ever chat on a podcast together, because I would love to make a pitch to come on your podcast. If we ever chat about, we can bring that up if you want.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we'll probably have everyone that's reading on here on.
That'd be great.
All right, let's move on to, thank you for that. Let's move on to Zach.
Hi, how's it going, everyone? Again, sorry.
How was your day? What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. I just I got too much going on at once, and...
Your magazine, is it like...
No, it's not even that. It's like, my job is, I have a job now, which is nice, because I was unemployed for a long time, but at first it was pretty mellow, but they gave me a raise, and which is good, but it's also like, now they're like, you are a real person here, and you have to do good.
More responsibilities and all that shit.
Yeah. And I just have a bunch of random little projects going on at once. Like I'm going to be in my friend's movie in 2 weeks. Like I'm traveling I'm traveling to North Carolina to do that. And it's just starting to catch up with me. But anyway.
Wait, what's the movie about?
The movie is about two kind of post-quarter life crisis losers who were college roommates together, and they are reuniting kind of spontaneously to track down the Mothman, sort of.
No, I love Mothman shit.
Yeah, it's about the Mothman. And I'm the second lead, I suppose.
Oh, fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
I have a theory about the Mothman.
What's your theory?
I think Mothman is a bumbling idiot from the future that is trying to go back in time and warn people, but he can't like physically go up and touch people, so he has like his red eyes. That's all he can do is warn people, but he has to stay away.
The red eyes are going to feature in this. I actually am not super familiar with Mothman lore, and I said, should I read the Mothman prophecies? And the director was like, no, your character doesn't know that much about this, so it probably won't help you.
The Mothman prophecies sucked. That movie was terrible.
Yeah, I know, but the book apparently is like nuts. At least that's what they told me. But oh well. But yeah, that's in the week after a week from Friday. I go to North Carolina for like 5 days to. It's a cryptid to the chat. It's a West Virginian, West Virginian moth person. A monster.
I wish Claire was still around. We could have asked her about that.
Yeah. But anyway, should I read? What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I was gonna read a work in progress, but it just ends abruptly. So I'm going to do something crazy, and I'm going to read my entire chapbook from last year because the entire thing is 595 words. So this is I never have gotten to read this in any reading, and I always meant to, and it kind of never happened. So this is going to be a one-time deal. You're going to witness history here. I'm going to read this entire chapbook called My Eyes. It is a bunch of haiku, so it's all very short. And here we go. Windows. New work calendar. Tells you when to piss and shit and glance out windows. My office. A desk built from bones, tooth computer monitor, and chair weaved from hair. Untitled 1. Emerald pierced eyes, interuterine opals, rubies freshly leached. My gun. I have a gut now. I store my gun within it. Bend down to reload. Animals 1. Elephants are smart. Bottlenose dolphins are smart. Chimpanzees are smart. My most famous trick. Are you looking now? This is my most famous trick. My most accomplished. My commute. Commute to music. Staring at space is healthy, as our car crashes. Animals 2. Giraffes are stupid. Oh, this is a hard word to say. Pada Moultrie day, also quite stupid. Hats. Hats cover the hole drilled by Dad into my head. He didn't mean it. Animals 3. Salamander sky. Elm trees with lizards for leaves. Cars pushed by cobras. Warm milk. Here's my studio. Here's my second family with a glass of warm milk. Roller coaster. The roller coaster each year kills a kid or two, but they won't close it. Untitled 2. I don't think at all. I don't think about culture, nor anything else. My tomb. I'm buried atop the cemetery nearby. Special gliding tomb. Pro bono. The local dentist works on my mouth pro bono, furthering research. Untitled 3. Bed is inviting. Try not to think about it, even in my dreams. Air conditioner. Air conditioner plays with itself in my room, uses air for lube. Studying. That's me studying. My desk is not what you think. It's a Cessna's wing. Untitled 4. Uncongenial, reprehensible, sterile, inhospitable. Towel. Wow, can you guys hear the airplane behind me? No? Okay, cool. Towel. Towel off alone, but wish you were here with me to fold the towel. Animals 4. I name my cat Hans, which definitely suits him. He cries out for me. My aunt. My aunt has money. Mostly she doesn't share it. I await her death. Ore. I fall through the floor, ripped into pits by earthquake. Down there I find ore. Repo. Here's my new guitar. Here's my last notice to pay. Repo, play us songs. Untitled 5. Have you noticed that people always call when you don't want them to call? Untitled 6. I shut down the beach to hold a private meeting. No one really minds. The smell is for you. So glad you made it. Welcome to my apartment. The smell is for you. Sports chalet. I miss sports chalet. You could buy a gun in there or a beach towel. Rome. I love USA. I've never left it before. I'd like to see Rome. Animals 5. I watch Degrassi. My cat understands Spanish and loves spaghetti. Untitled 7. Tables have legs like humans do and don't whistle at them. They hate it. Melrose Place. My television knows just what to say when I'm down. Like Melrose Place. Animals 6. Ignoring headaches. Hawks circling above my flat. I will gain their trust. Animals 7. Waves remind me of you. Waves crash against my window. Waves smell like seagulls. Books. I read Extinction. I read The Magic Mountain. I read Coetzee. My diary. That's my diary. Don't look at it. I beg of you. It will piss you off. Animal 7. Everything is work. The ocean's boiling is work. Eat fish while you can. My eyes. My eyes still don't fit. I bargain with them each day, which they seem to like. Sunsets. Sunsets speak to me. I can't always understand, but record it all. Finito. I'm done with this now, and you are as well, unless you make me write more. Thank you.
Oh, that was great.
Thank you.
It felt very alt-lit to me.
Yeah.
As a complimentary alt-lit, not a...
No, I don't take it. I know people are very touchy about terminology, but I don't mind. This is probably my most like. I mean, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, everyone in the chat.
Everyone loved the use air as lube line.
That's cool. Okay, I'm glad to hear it.
Anyone have any comments or questions they would like to raise?
Sure. So I love this. This is great. You're always so playful and fun, but I really like your more serious work too. Like you had one, I think it was in Scaffold, like Fine Educator Diptych, I think it was. Yeah. And it was maybe my favorite story of all last year. Like it was so good. And yeah, like do you have like are you gonna put together more of your like kind of serious work in kind of one spot? I would love to like read you know, like I love your playful stuff too. It's great. But like you have such keen like social insight. I'd love to read some more of your like kind of more serious stuff too.
Yeah, I don't have a great answer to that. I'm writing kind of a more serious story right now. I don't know when it will be done, but yeah, I don't know. I just I like humor. I like not humor too. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm not putting a book together or anything. Or I've been writing a novel forever, but
what's your novel about?
Oh, it's kind of hard to explain. I'll try, but it's like the fifth iteration of the same thing. It's about a guy who is writing letters. It's like sort of epistolary. It's a lot of letters and emails about a guy whose girlfriend goes off to graduate school and leaves him alone, and he's like this really weird consultant type person moves into the bungalow next to his, and he kind of becomes involved with there's like a lot of moving parts, I guess, but he becomes involved with this guy who is like restoring a roller coaster in Topanga Canyon.
I love it.
Yeah, so I basically started over the whole thing relatively recently, so it's if it ever gets done, it's a while out, but that I think is a good synthesis of what it's playful. The writing style's a little playful, but it's really depressing. So I hope you will like it if it hopefully one day exists.
Absolutely, I will. I'm looking forward to reading it.
Anyone outside of the readers have questions or comments, like Eric or anyone else, or Michael Washington?
I love everything Zach puts out, so I'm always a huge fan.
Thank you, man.
And so yeah, and I'm excited to see your movies.
Yeah, one day.
I guess if you don't mind me asking, because I'm such a sucker for this specific form, and I'm also working on like an epistolary work, what made you decide to take that route for the novel? Because it's so intimate, but I find that it sort of like unlocks this layer of like if you have like remove from a subject matter, sometimes it brings you a bit closer in a way that's like helpful. And so I guess I'm sort of curious what made you decide to like take that form while you were working on it.
Yeah, so I feel super close to this subject matter already. Like, as a lot of people know, I'm obsessed with roller coasters for various traumatic reasons. But it's definitely the intimacy part. I don't know, I just felt I like it. And I always see people be like, what happened to the epistolary novel? Blah, blah, blah. I like playing with form. And there's so far a bunch of what I've written is emails about this with this narrator complaining about Israel. Like it's pretty weird. But yeah, I don't have a good answer for you except I guess what is interesting is that, or I don't know if this is interesting, but every other version of it was not epistolary, or sometimes I do like incorporating text messages and emails. I just wrote a story that was published recently that is all a chat log from a video game, and so I love dialogue. I love letters. I feel like I was born too late for letters to be a thing that much, but I love the novel Frankenstein, which is not necessarily fully epistolary, but is like, I don't know. I like people telling other people's stories. I've always been attracted to that.
I think that's as good an answer as any. I don't think there's any wrong answer to that, but I was just curious because I think it's such a, yeah, there's like an intimacy to it, and there's a sort of like leaving the reader out sometimes because like you said, people telling each other stories in that form. I sort of like the distance it places between writer and reader proper, because there's two readers in essence, right? Or you're presuming two readers, and like presuming that the answers or that the letters are being read by the person they're intended for. So yeah, I just wanted to ask about that. I think that's as good an answer as any.
I'm going to try to play with what you just talked about kind of specifically, because about halfway through, the letters stop being to someone and just the narrator just keeps writing them. The person's no longer reading. And that's kind of the turn of the book. I think when we get there, my process is stupid and haphazard, but that's the intention at least.
Wait, what's your process?
It just is. I guess it's not a formal process, but it just goes like, there's people who have been like, you seem to publish all the time, and I'm like, I don't think that's true. It takes me forever to get to something. Like I'll have like versions of what I write that will end up published or won't. You would never be able to tell that they are another draft of something else. Like I will basically write something that will just almost end up being research for something else. Like it will just transform or not exist, I guess. It's overwriting, I suppose.
Jillian is nodding her head. Do you agree, Jillian?
Well, I just think Zach needs to give himself some grace here, that's a natural part of the process. I am also a slow writer, and I don't have any feelings about that. I think I used to when I was younger, and I'm like, oh, this person has 80 credits. Who cares? My point here is that you're still using those pieces or those seeds of writing, even if you're using them for research or revamping them completely. That's all part of the process. And I know that you'll finish that novel. You better, because I also have an obsession with roller coasters. And
I think you.
Okay, good. I watch YouTube videos of about deaths on roller coasters and theme park rides.
Did you see the kid that got decapitated?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, where?
I forget. There was it was like some new roller coaster, and like there was netting at the very top, and it was like one of the tallest roller coasters, and they were testing it out, and it went too fast, and I guess he had like the park for a day because his dad was like a congressman, and the kid's head got like caught on the net, and it totally decapitated him as the ride kept going.
Oh my god!
It was like a big lawsuit too.
Oh man!
I gotta look that up.
I don't know that one. I remember someone at Six Flags Over Georgia like dropped their hat on the Batman ride and like hopped a fence and got killed. Like stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know.
What's your favorite roller coaster?
I don't. I've been on. I have a list. I tried to put together a list of every roller coaster I've been on.
Bye, Kirstie.
Hi, Kirstie. Thank you so much for coming. Seriously.
You're awesome.
So in the hobby or what or in the community, they call them coaster credits, and there's like a whole obsession about how many you've been on, and have you been on a rare one. And there's literally an app now where you can track every single ride you've been on, not just the ride, but like how many times you go on it and what seat you sit on each time you ride it. So there's people who are...
What the fuck?
Yeah, there's people who are really... And that's part of what I am writing about. It's basically the main character is like a wannabe roller coaster YouTuber, so I know a lot about this stuff, I guess, because I've been on about 100 roller coasters, which most people are like, wow, that's so many. Wow. But yeah, that's actually whoever just said, I don't know who Fuchsia Blowhard is, but
the McDonald's guy.
That's my favorite. That's probably my favorite roller coaster that got the fish thrown at it. That's Magnum XL 200 at Cedar Point.
Jennifer, have you been on a roller coaster?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tons. I've been to Cedar Point too, Ohio. Yeah, that roller coaster, like at the time, was the highest, fastest in the world.
It's the first 200-foot complete circuit roller coaster.
Yeah, yeah, and I did live in Edmonton for a long time, and we've got the mall there with big roller coaster. So yeah, I've been on tons of roller coasters. Not anymore. I don't know. As I get older, I don't have the stomach for it anymore. But I loved it when I was younger.
I'm sad to say they sunsetted that roller coaster, but they are building a big new one in the West End.
Oh.
I'd always wanted to go on that. People said that was one of the best indoor rides ever.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the West End one. Yeah, yeah.
My God, don't get me started talking about this. I know too much about this shit.
Have you ever wanted to design your own?
I mean, hey, if you want to throw me some money, I think I could put together something pretty cool.
A burial coaster.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be. In the UK, there was a Saw roller coaster like themed to the Saw movies, and I was like, why don't they do that in America? Like that's so much cooler than what we get usually. Like here we get roller coasters themed to literally the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm just like, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's kind of what the book I've been working on is also sort of about, is like this guy, this main character who is like not me, but is sort of me, is like he just can't do Steelers rule. Fuck off. Hey, I'm not saying
be kind. Guys.
Not saying the Steelers. I don't have anything against the Steelers. I'm just saying building like a $40 million roller coaster and it's like themed to the Steelers, and that's a real thing. It's at Kennywood in Pittsburgh. I think that's strange. But yeah. But I mean, when I was a kid. I know a bunch of people who were like, I want to grow up and be an Imagineer, which is Walt Disney Imagineering. They design all the Disney shit, and that was always a thing. But I wasn't mathematical. I couldn't draw for shit, so there wasn't a way for me to do it. So I'm interested in this stuff for sure. But and I do think if I got money these days, at the very least, I could put together a team, and I have some good ideas. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I think we'll move on to our last reader.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for reading. It was awesome. J.L. Moultrie, poet.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me, Tyler.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for inviting me, and it was just great hearing everybody's work and just so much amazing work out there. I'm going to read 2 poems. So this first one was published in Hobart. Shout out to Elizabeth Ellen. Boston, Michigan winters, I believe the honesty of strangers. Hardly recognized, or upon the easel splintered. Losing my edge again, the medicine's working too well. Nothing melts in Hades, there's Judas in every man's heart. Marks alone, a stone wall and report with spirit like primitive art. Painted after the Van Gogh show, walking inward, inferred the sequence of seasons, the beauty still remote. Speechless, all who know teachers allayed my need for self-destruction. Boston, Michigan winters, thrust in abusive substance, growing up. I believe the honesty of strangers. Geese flew, Felt the undertow grows into collages. Inside of me are mirages. Kisses lingering, thorns taste of plums. What if we didn't meet or share a bed? You were smoking, I was involved in not talking, always bleeding. The blind are without seeing, no one can reach me. You stopped drinking. Mind, former awe, inaccessible, cornered all, a wounded animal. A condition of non-existence, essentially the initial miracle's quicksand. Stunned by who I'm not willing to feel, humiliation to trust, conditions of decaying stars. Hardly entered my mind, still carved inside riverbeds. My apostasy signs accustom me, yet storms lift. Withdrew into confession, pride aside, time incites love's heavy crown. Bleary-eyed bodies led by our fragile waking minds, making silhouettes at the moon's request. You took me to the remnants of your armor, each departure a receding tide. That's the first one. Thank you. This next one is called Bastille, and it was published in Post-Pop Lit. I recall time being a mirror, and by degrees, answers separate us from home. Who are we but stones thrown amid leaves, sieved into shape, born of tides? I was scarcely alive, yet arrived before a night on this plain. A short flight, all I felt was blue, uncontained. The clarity's overdue. Leading to upturned rivers, you searched my face for what I couldn't see, strewn from my interior. Unadorned, the single experience of being a seedling, breaking waves in form. Signals become lost, immersed in sand, then gone. I was impaired, barely there again, kindled life from strata and wood. Each prayer a fresh layer of soot. It's the two.
Thank you. That was awesome. Each prayer, a layer of soot. So it's been burned down. I like that.
Thank you.
Really good. When was that published on Hobart?
It was this year, like in May, I think, May or June. Yep.
When did you really start sending your stuff out to all these magazines?
I think it was November 2018.
Okay.
I first started, and just getting feedback from different magazines. Mostly just self-taught. It comes from just reading a lot and just putting myself out there. It took somebody to just challenge me to say, put your work out there and see what happens. So that's when I started. And I think I got my first acceptance in 2019 in January. So it was really quick turnaround. Yeah.
Jennifer, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, actually. So you're one of my favorites, JL. Like I love the depth of emotion and just the sheer poetics of the way you write. I'm curious, is it something that just comes naturally to you? Do you just do you just sit down and all this beautiful poetry just spills out of you, or do you really have to think about it and play around with concepts and stuff, or is it just feels so natural, it's the most artful artlessness, it doesn't feel like sometimes I read poetry and I'm like, this person's trying so hard, and I don't get that from you at all. I just love it. It's so beautiful and poetic and just feels so natural.
Thank you so much.
So is it something that you have naturally, or do you work at it?
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. I love your work too. But it's different every time. Lately, it's just been coming out. James Baldwin, I think, said it. You just vomit up the anguish, and it just happens. But I really don't edit a lot like the previous readers, like Jillian and um, Alexandra. Like I don't really edit, but I think I edit like prose a lot more. Um, but with poetry, I just try to catch on to an emotion that um, catches that holds my attention, and then I just write. I write everything in handwriting, so kind of old
Oh, I
school.
love that.
Yeah, I have like a lot of notebooks and I journal. And it's just a different. I think it affects my process in writing too. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm always so jealous of poets because I'm not like naturally poetic. I think I'm kind of like I'm a little bit long-winded. And
No.
I think that beautiful like the ability to like to say something in so few words and be so like so poignant and specific without having to like go on and on and on and on and on about it to get the message across. I think it's a really interesting skill, and I'm always amazed that people can do it. So and you're one of the best. So
Oh, thank you
yeah,
so much.
thanks for sharing your work with us.
Thank you, Jen. You're one of my favorite too, and I think I just read your piece 14 for the first time. So your work is always just amazing. So thank you so much.
Oh,
And
thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
yeah, I had a question for Jen actually too that I didn't
Sure.
get to ask you before about
Sure.
like in a lot of your pieces, even the fiction, it seems to draw from your real experiences. Like I think we share that. Is that the
Yeah.
case most of the time?
Sorry?
Is that the case most of the time with each?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I draw a lot from real life. I do write some other stuff that's less like, that's more just like pure fiction. But in terms of what gets published, it seems to be mostly my like my nonfiction work for some reason. So I think that's what most people get to see of my writing is because it just kind of gets the most traction, I guess. But yeah, I write a lot from like personal experience and from life because I think life is pretty rich, and like there are I think there are lots of stories that I think that everybody has that resonate with other people, and yeah, it's just always been um, something I write about for whatever reason, I guess.
It kind of breaks my heart to know you do very little editing because, like, you, I feel like, to me, are such like the high watermark of what I strive to be as a poet, and I'm constantly editing to get to a similar level to you. And so now to know that you don't fucking edit is like legitimately hurting me.
What's up, Eric? Oh man, uh, I I just appreciate what you're saying, man, and I'm really flattered. I admire your work so well. Can't wait to read with you. It goes in love release.
Oh,
So
thank you. You're the one you did in post pop lit, Rome, just absolutely floored me. I read it at work, and I'm pretty much defined as a really tough guy, and that just made me cry at how just beautiful the craftsmanship of it was. And to know that the word choice was so excellent and it just came naturally is just, like I said, it's debilitating.
oh man, thank you so much. You guys are awesome, and yeah, I remember I still got a lot of notebooks full of really bad poetry I can bring out next time. But I do have poems from like 2010 when I started writing, and it's just amazing how far we come. So just blessed, man, and yeah, I'm trying to get a book together, so an epistolary memoir. So hopefully that comes through. Yep. It's going to be like a hybrid thing. I've been working on it forever. Like Zach was saying, it's just different drafts, so many different. It just has a life of its own manuscript.
I have a question for the people that aren't the readers. The DG in the chat, is that David? Because I know he hates poetry and he keeps complimenting you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
DG.
David has like an entire issue with poetry and like he hates all poets, but he keeps saying nice things about you.
Oh, yeah. I see it. Thank you, Matt.
Zach, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, you kind of you touched on it. I was actually wondering if specifically if you handwrite your poetry. Is it in a journal? Do you do it on a computer? Do you do it on your phone? I want to know, like, do you think about it all day and get home and write it, or do you think about, or is it in the moment? Like, I am really curious about it too, because it's just like some of your poems, man, are just fucking awesome. Like,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
yeah. Fuck.
I do think about them. Like, I think all I do is write, and I have a bike now, so I can, like, Kirstie was saying about the city and how you walk around, and a lot of days I'm like obsessed with it. Like, I'm trying to not force it, but make it come, and it doesn't want to come, and then it comes when I don't want it to come. Like, so I think I had a friend in community college. Like, I went to community college here, and he said we get attacked by inspiration, us artists. So it's a lot. It takes a lot to just get it out. But it's awesome.
Jillian or Alexandra, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I don't have a question, but I did want to tell JL that I was trying to articulate for myself what is so wonderful and moving about your poetry. And there's like an emotional clarity or directness to the reader, but it's not done in this obvious way or this way that is performative or like pandering to the reader, which I guess speaks to what JL you were saying about it being so personal from your personal experiences, which I had kind of intuited or surmised reading your other work. But I think I'm trying to articulate for myself, like, I knew that I already liked Alexandra's poetry. And like David, I tend, why am I whispering? I tend not to like poetry, but yours really speaks to me. And I think it's just because there's like a clear and direct truth. You're not trying to obfuscate it or, play it up with special little gimmicks here and there. It's just like I feel your core heart. And like, I think I said last time, like the rhythm of it feels very of the body, like the waves and the way it moves. And I think that's what I connect to. It feels very human to me.
Thank you so much,
you.
Jill. Thank you. That means the world to me. Yeah. I think when it first drafts, it's just the raw material, and then we you know how it is. You just morph it and sculpt it, and yeah, it's hard to know when to stop. Like, that's the hardest part, to know when to leave something alone. You don't want to keep working on it and working it. So thank you guys for the kind words.
Hey, Jillian, which poet do you hate the most?
I'm not answering that question.
Well, not in our community, but like a famous poet.
No, I don't know if I hate. It's not that I hate it, and maybe David hates it.
Disdain.
I would love to.
Detest.
Yes, disdain.
He hates it.
I knew you were going to ask me that question. I actually don't know. And you know what? I really loved poetry in college, and I would always do these independent studies on all the confessional poets and then the beat poets. And then I just never gravitated toward it as an adult. It felt I'm going to be honest. I think I was performing. I was performing and saying, hey, I love poetry. I connect to poetry. And I don't think I fully did. So I think I need to revisit it on its own terms and as I am now. But I think David said something about phoning it in. And sometimes I feel that it's phoning it in, or that there's a certain template or formula that is followed that feels more about showing off or something rather than conveying something and sharing a part of yourself. I would have to think about that more. I'm very tired. But I don't hate any individual poets. It's just that it doesn't necessarily speak to me, except for now JL, Alexandra, Brian Allen Ellis. There are like modern poets that I like, but you know.
What do you think of Ellen Ash's poetry?
You're asking, I'm not going to speak about my friend. You're trying. I feel like you're trying to. I feel like you're trying to catch me or something.
No.
Maybe
you like her poetry.
No, I do, but it again. Okay. Is it the work? Is it her work that speaks to me most? No, and I would tell her that. Yeah.
She's not listening.
I know, but this is being recorded.
She's busy, I bet.
Yeah.
Jennifer, how do you feel? Are there any poets you don't like?
Are there any poets I don't like?
Yeah.
Actually, I think I posted something recently on Twitter. Rilke, like Rainier Marie Rilke, I think it is. I really I've tried to read, because everybody that I like to read recommends him. And so I've tried to read him a couple times, and I just don't like it. I just find him pedantic. There's just really nothing about his work that appeals to me. And then I read his Letters to a Young Poet, and I just found him so pedantic. He was such a tedious, boring person. And I was like, why does everybody like this person so much? So yeah, that's my one poet that I'm I just don't get it. I really just don't get it.
JL, would you ever go for an MFA in poetry?
I was actually rejected recently at Brown. They said no, so I think I'm gonna stick with the independent thing and write it out and keep writing, keep producing, and see what happens. But I definitely agree with you guys, Jillian and Jen, about some poems being so they're not honest. I don't think they don't get to the heart of anything. They're just not saying anything. They're just look at my big words and stuff like that.
A lot of MFA poetry feels like that to me. It's overly worked to the point where I don't know what's going on. So I do appreciate alt-lit writers who just write it maybe if they're being funny, and then the feeling or emotion comes through that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Juliet Escoria, she wrote one poetry book, and there's a poem about her taking a bath with a piece of poo that's Scott McClanahan's, and she is willing to take the bath with the piece of poo because she loves him so much. And that was an illustration of love that it just hit me, and it was oh my god, this is a perspective I've never seen before, and it totally hit me. It's so great of a poem.
Oh yeah, so that's the power of poetry and literature, But you guys write the prose, so you have to grab the attention so quick and try to hold on to it as long as we can. So shout out to you guys for the micros and the prose. It's hard. It took me a while to be able to write micros, so I finally got a few accepted different places.
There's a listener out there, or watcher, Lucas. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, thanks. Real quick, I wanted to say to Jennifer a ways back, and this actually goes for JL and Alexandra too. There's this effect that certain pieces have, and I don't know if it's voice or content, but I didn't make it to the last one of these, but all three of your guys' pieces, it was I swear I've heard these before. Like just something about like the especially the parrot and like doing odd jobs with it, like taking it out on display. And I'm like I feel like I've heard this story. And it's one of those like those surrealist kind of effects that really does it for me. And JL, I've heard you read that the piece from Hobart a couple times before, and like each time, and then seeing it on the page too, like new sound work jumps out, like a new image here or there, and like that's the shit for poetry. So yeah, just congrats on that piece, and that's you just I can't believe how quickly you write such great stuff, and how it's just like flowing out, and you're really in the zone right now. So yeah, good for you, man.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Appreciate you, man.
Is there anything else anyone has to add?
Yeah, fuck Brown, dude.
Fuck Brown.
Michael Washington, do you have anything you'd like to add? I know you're a poet as well. Maybe not. All right, I'll end this. Thank you all for... I'm just going to end the recording. If you guys want to stick around, you may. Or you can get on out of here.